Hello everybody. So the first striped dolphin, Sternella coerulio alba, to be recorded on the Isle of Man, stranded alive just before Christmas 2017. Volunteers tried to refloat it, but it stranded again, dying not long afterwards, and it received a fair bit of news coverage. We are a small island in the middle of the Irish Sea, so different departments and organisations often need to work collaboratively, and this was no different, with the reporting, collecting and autopsy being carried out by a combination of NGOs and the island's Department of Environment, Food and Agriculture. Manx National Heritage works closely with all of these organisations, so I was notified of the stranding, and as we already had several cetacean skeletons on display, I decided that this historic specimen would be a nice addition. Even though I hadn't done this kind of skeletal preparation before, I thought I knew the theory and I'll give it a go. I asked if I could attend the autopsy, so Lara Howe, the marine officer of the local wildlife trust, and I assisted a volunteer vet. I've left out some of the more gruesome pictures, but I learned a lot, including that blubber acts like a thermos flask and it takes longer than you think to defrost a dolphin. Much of the core of the animal was still partly frozen, which made taking samples rather finger-numbing. So even though you could say I was fortunate that my first autopsy was on a freshly dead animal, and the lab didn't smell any different to your average butcher. We don't have anything fancy like macerating tanks here, so I thought the easiest and most economical way to reveal the skeleton was composting. After I read up on the technique, all I had to do was contact environmental health, find some land to bury it, and source lots of poo. Fortunately, a retired employee of Manx National Heritage has some land, and he and his wife also keep horses, very handy. A colleague and I put together a very large raised bed and made numerous trips to and from the stables carrying waste manure and hay. Eventually it got to a level we were happy with and we laid Stripey to rest. In the meantime, I had to make room for the skeleton in the gallery, and as I'd already been asked to move two of our current dolphin skeletons that were hung from the ceiling of a corridor, I saw this as a chance for some redisplay. Our conservator Chris Weeks made some wooden frames for transport, and we also took the chance to clean them whilst they were easy to access. I see these activities as another engagement tool for the public, so I did do this during open hours. It was almost too successful because one teacher asked if her class could have an impromptu talk about what we were doing, but they were a very nice group of kids. After a year of burial, I discovered that even though the carcass had been defleshed, there was an envelope of fat deposited around the bones, and inside some of the areas were still quite soupy. I decided it was a good idea to turn over the compost and add some fresh manure. After a further 6 months, we were at a place that I was happy with, and the bones were degreased really well. The skeleton was decidedly less smelly and was now ready to be excavated. Some of the volunteers and I gave the skeleton a clean with a soft toothbrush and some dental tools. During the cleaning, I noticed something odd within the cranial cavity whilst looking through the foramen magnum at the base of the skull. My colleague Alison Fox, Curator of Archaeology, suggested I call the island's hospital, as they are the only place with a CT scanner here, and had helped her with some archaeological human remains in the past. They very kindly agreed, and we got some interesting scans. You can see quite clearly here the ossification of the brain membranes, the tentorium cerebelli, and I wondered if this was symptomatic of disease. I sent the images to Rob Deville at the UK Cetacean Strandings Investigation Programme, and he said he had seen this before in a number of delphinid species, and it appears to be largely age-related. The bones are now waiting to be mounted by myself and Chris, but we would like to brighten up the bone surface a little because it's going on display. So we're experimenting with a few things, as we want to make sure that we don't want to damage the surface of the bone. We have tried laser cleaning and we did send some away, but it didn't work, so we're trying other things. As we are a dual language nation, many of our displays contain Manx words and phrases, and the Natural History Gallery is no different. Being a new species to the island, there wasn't actually a name for a striped dolphin. So we, much like making a new species name, the request had to be sent to the Cúnsail na Gailge, the Manx Language Advisory Council, The Manx for a striped dolphin is now Lemeda Muatronach. Collaborating on this project has been really interesting and beneficial. I've learned a lot and I'm looking forward to the next steps. It'll be great to unveil the finished article. Thank you very much for listening, and if you have any questions, let me know on Twitter.